changes every which way. You got to hold on to what you need. And if I hide myself away, how could I grow with the world around me? We can trust each other.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Even for celebrities who have had to endure the most humiliating of Illuminati humiliation rituals in order to get their careers off the ground, the 2024 election was too much. And many of them have crashed out on politics entirely, including, of course, Jimmy Kimmel and the host of this fundraiser. This is a very special fundraiser because we were able to see who was really in charge here as Barack Obama ushered Joe Biden off the stage. Joe Biden clearly not knowing where he was or what he was doing, according to reporters at this event hosted by George Clooney. Joe Biden couldn't even make sense when he was trying to give answers. Here's Joe Biden again, being incapable of even walking off the stage under his own power. This was after Joe Biden just utterly collapsed during the presidential debate with Donald Trump. And there you can see Barack Obama having to guide him by the hand off the stage. Ugh. George Clooney was humiliated by all of this. You can see how the reporters wrote it up at the time. Biden raises $30 million in glitzy LA fundraiser featuring Obama and Clooney. And then the real headlines published well after Donald Trump had won the election. Biden didn't recognize George Clooney. Fundraiser. The president, who is still seeking re-election at the time, appeared to have aged a decade, according to George Clooney. And George Clooney said that Joe Biden didn't recognize him. And whatever you think of George Clooney, I think he's totally overrated. And I think that Quentin Tarantino is right. He's not a movie star. But whatever you think of him, he is recognizable. Most people, because of the power of Hollywood propaganda, know what a George Clooney is, but Joe Biden didn't at his own fundraiser. Yeah, yikes. Anyway, the whole thing was just a massive black pill for George Clooney, who's now been trolled within an absolute inch of his life by Donald Trump for all of it, having to endure memes like this one.
Although I wish I were here with better news. The fact is that you and I are sitting here today because this will be your last week of employment. This is not an assessment of your productivity. You gotta try not to take this personally.
Well, I just had a bad night.
Donald Trump shared this and it went viral. George Clooney's had enough of the humiliation. According to reports, George Clooney is furious with Obama for using him as a patsy for Kamala's defeat. Oh, yeah, the bromance between George Clooney and Barack Obama is on the rocks. The Hollywood star is said to be furious with Obama for using him to end Joe Biden's career. With, of course, that famous New York Times op-ed. George Clooney emerged as a major player in the 2024 presidential election cycle when he wrote a New York Times op-ed calling for Joe Biden to resign. Poll proves wide majority of Americans reject celebrity endorsements and are just sick of these elitist pricks telling us how to live. George Clooney, of course, chiefly among them. This is having a very bad effect on George Clooney's career, by the way. George Clooney is on a bit of a career downslope. As you can see here on his Rotten Tomatoes, he hasn't really had a hit in a long time. George Clooney has been collapsing into the rotten stage of his career. George Clooney now kind of looking rotten, frankly. Nobody knows what the hell's going on with his hair. Looking like a complete goofball here in these clips. He's also getting trolled outside of his own Broadway show.
George, Jesse Waters has a question for you. George, why'd you wait so long to speak about Biden's condition?
Oh, hi, man. Are you recording us now?
Say hi to Jesse for me. I'm a huge fan.
You're a huge fan? He likes what you did with your hair, George. George, did Obama use you?
Dude,
Were you used by Obama?
why are you so nervous? You're shaking.
Were you used by Obama,
literally
George?
shaking.
I don't think he's nervous. I think George Clooney's nervous, right? George Clooney's the one who doesn't even look like I mean, again, maybe if Joe Biden saw this version of George Clooney, you wouldn't be recognizable. Here's a very, very thin, very gaunt, very sickly looking George Clooney exiting his vehicle to get into his Broadway show. He refuses to touch a fan or like speak to them, and he looks, well, just not great. It's all wearing on George Clooney. I'm a Democrat. When my side stopped telling the truth, I had to speak up. Goodness gracious. Now he's attacking the Democrat Party. Everybody's attacking him. And George Clooney's even having to compliment Donald Trump.
If it happens, it would be pretty damaging to the business. Look, he's not wrong about the idea that businesses have left Los Angeles. They have in droves. What we need is, the incentives, the tax incentives that you get here in New York, by the way. They're building studios here because there's so much work. We need those. And by the way, if he really wants to fix it, then we should talk about a federal incentive passed to keep people working in Los Angeles, because there are tons of below-the-line people, grips and cinematographers, who are losing their jobs because work is going away, leaving.
Okay, so he's saying, yeah, Trump's right here. He's right about that. Goodness. Having to be forced to admit that will age you if you are a man like George Clooney. If you had to cut an ad like this.
Come on, boys. Let's make America great again. It's your turn, buddy.
Before you cast your vote in this election, think about how it'll impact the people you care about the most.
Daddy!
Remember, you can vote any way you want, and no one will ever know.
Do your patriotic duty.
You bet I did, brother.
What happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls.
Paid for by Vote Common Good.
The single gayest political ad I have ever seen. And yeah, there's been quite a few of them there. Remember Real Men for Harris? Yeah. Sitting on the back of a pickup truck. Yeah, the point is that George Clooney has been doing a massive humiliation ritual, and now he says he's done. Clooney says, I'm sick of it. I'm done. George Clooney says, I'm finished with my career. I'm going to go focus on my twins and my wife, which is actually an honorable thing to say for fear of complimenting George Clooney. This is exactly what you should be doing, dude. You're on the wrong side of 60. You have 8-year-olds. Go spend time with them. You've probably made more than enough money. You probably had more money stolen from you by your accountants than most people will make in their lifetime. And it's time to hang it up. George Clooney said that he's winding down his acting career. Well, it's kind of getting wound down for you because nobody wants to put you in movies anymore. The longtime actor, director, and producer made it clear that chasing big products is no longer a priority. I am not in a mad rush to succeed anymore. I've had my career. In many ways, we're winding it all down. So I get to be home with my kids, and it's a lot of fun. Good. Go do that. I'm still young enough that I can run around with them. That's gonna go away quickly. I can still do it right now, so I'm having a fun time. This is actually the correct take from George Clooney. You should be with your kids. You should be spending as much time as possible with your kids when you're as healthy as possible. Yes. New York Film Festival premiere. He said this, and he's saying that being a father isn't good for show business. Actors speak for he's not getting a lot of offers and people aren't listening to his political opinions. In a year or two, he'll be minus Trump derangement syndrome and running for office. George Clooney says he's winding down his acting career. Will he run for office? That's an interesting question. George Clooney says he's winding down his career so he can spend more time with his children. He doesn't need to worry. His films are already doing this for him. That's right. George Clooney had a lot of box office bombs. But still, I mean, even if he's being forced to do it, good. George Clooney's career is the one that is done. I will never watch anything of his ever again. Done like George Clooney's acting career. George Clooney's career as an actor has been done for years with no promise of a comeback whatsoever. Yeah, I think he's just totally blackpilled on how he was treated. The 2024 election, he was proven to be just the dumbest pawn for the Democrat Party. And they pinned everything on him, and he was a total patsy. And he was forced to do all these like absolute and total humiliation rituals, like, you know, ads like this. And these are the kind of things that do end up hurting your career. And now he is forced to like compliment Trump and like swallow all of his pride. So it's like enough. It's enough. Again, even for people like George Clooney, there is a line. And that line should absolutely be the same line that many people draw, which is shut up. Nobody cares about you, your opinion. Go spend time with your kids. Go do the honorable thing and go be a dad and spend time and a husband and spend time with your kids. And that's far more important than another Kamala Harris ad. Will he be able to stay away? I don't know. I doubt it. We'll see. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe if you want George Clooney to retire now. Forced retirement.